States where it'll get only into the 70s. That's the national weather. Now the local forecast.
TV5's exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Hazy sunshine today. It'll be warm and humid, and there is a chance of a thunder shower. Our daytime high is 89 to 94. Tonight, a few clouds. It'll be warm and sultry. Nighttime lows 76 to 81.
That's the weather for now. Coming up, replacing books in the classroom, a new product.
Oh, hi, Betty.
Hi.
Want to borrow some Triscuit? They're right behind you. Pass me a box, too. Marty called and he's bringing some guests. Hey, try one.
Okay.
What do you think? Great, huh? These Triscuit wafers are really something. Like a whole snack menu in one box. I don't know about you, but I use Nabisco's Triscuits with anything, hot or cold. They're so firm and crunchy. Oops, gotta go. He's on time for once. Don't forget your Triscuits.
38 after. In medicine, orthopedics is the specialty that corrects and prevents bone deformities. Recently, I learned about one rather common kind. There is an orthopedic condition called scoliosis that really all parents should be aware of. So Dr. Tim Johnson has come in this morning to explain. Good morning.
Good morning, Joan.
Exactly what is scoliosis?
Well, scoliosis comes from a Greek word meaning crookedness, and in this case we're talking about crookedness of the spine or backbone. Our spines normally bend forward in the neck and in the lower back, but
is revolutionizing the way some students learn, and recently Joan went to take a look at it. Why?
This may look like some futuristic work of art in a 21st century art gallery, but it's really a computer screen in the science room at Joan of Arc Junior High School in New York City. The artist is Eduardo Ortiz, who's 13 years old. The system is called Logo, and it's made by Texas Instruments. If you think it's just another teaching gimmick, you're wrong. The students love it, and they're teaching it to do some pretty remarkable things. Steve Siegelbaum is a teacher who has been helping his students learn to talk to the computer. In the beginning, he was skeptical.
At first, before I had taken a summer course, I was not too positively disposed toward the idea of a computer.
Why?
Well, I had thought of a computer as merely a teaching machine, something that would put up on a screen a math question or a grammar question or something and ask for a yes or no or a right or wrong response. And you can do math with a kid who might just sit in the classroom and not even be very interested. If you have him do something on a screen that he himself can do, draw a square, make a circle, and in doing so on the screen, he has to know the components.
This shape is carried on the screen by something called a sprite. There are 32 sprites in the computer, and the student can tell each sprite what shape to take and control its direction.
The kids are creating whatever they want to create, and that's the input. Therefore, they are in control. We've had some of the kids who are the weakest academically are very easily the strongest on that computer.
This may all look simple, but as I found out, getting the computer to do what you want takes a lot of thought and planning. Some students put to work some fairly sophisticated math formulas without even realizing it.
There are some kids who are past their teacher in ability to put things on the screen.
Anything you want, you can do on the computer. And plus, it's better than going to school and just sit in the class and work all day. I can come here and still work and learn and have fun.
Those computers really are becoming more and more a fact of life in today's schools. And if parents of the 60s thought the new math was mystifying, just wait until the moms and dads of the 80s are asked for help with this homework. It's 7:45 right now. We're going to be back with 2 views on nuclear disarmament right after this from Serta Mattresses.
Feeling fit feels so good, burning up the way you know you should.
I'm Susan Anton. Fitness that feels good by day needs firmness that feels good by night. Top comfort, deep support. You get both in every Serta Perfect Sleeper.
Be a perfect sleeper. Buy a perfect sleeper. Perfect It's a healthy investment in yourself.
You can bridge the miles between you and your loved ones with professional photographic portraits taken at Sears. Trust Sears Portrait Studio to create the quality portraits you want to save and share. This week, Tuesday through Saturday only, Sears offers a package of 2 8x10, 3 5x7, 15 wallet size, and 3 portrait charms for only $14.95, including 95-cent deposit. Share a memory with a portrait from Sears today.
Follow the leader in vacuums, Hoover, to great savings now during the anti-inflation Hoover sale. You'll find America's favorite, this powerful Hoover lightweight upright, now sale priced at an incredibly low $49.95. Or take home this remarkable Hoover Concept 1, complete with attachments, priced for really big savings at $229.95. So end your budgeting burdens during the anti-inflation Hoover sale. Don't miss all the Hoover values during the final week of the anti-inflation sale at the vacuum shops McAllen and Harlingen.
Christy McNichol. She's a girl with a dream.
I'm leaving for Nashville first thing in the morning.
Suddenly, she's left alone and afraid. Mark Hamill. He's a cop on the road. Playing Big Brother at first, but now he's falling in love.
Why don't you ever talk to me?
If these two can't make it happen, it'll break your heart. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, rated PG.
Starts Friday at a theater near you. Check newspaper for showtimes.
12 minutes before 8, 2 years ago, Howard Morland, who's a journalist, tried to publish an article in Progressive, it's called magazine, on how hydrogen bombs work and how they are made. The government went to court to stop the publication of the article. Then there was a long legal fight. The magazine won the right to print it, and did. Mr. Morland has now written a book about the controversy surrounding the printing of this article that he wrote about the making of an H-bomb. The book is called The Secret That Exploded. He also offers his own program in the book for reducing the threat of nuclear war. And this morning, Mr. Morland is with us, along with Roger Molander. Mr. Molander, who served on the National Security Council from 1974 until 1981, is an expert on arms limitation. He was a SALT II negotiator. Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
First of all, before we get to the business of disarmament, question of secrecy. In your judgment, the government said that some of the business you presented was secret information. You said it wasn't. In your judgment, is there any reason any of the information about the building of nuclear weapons should be kept secret?
Certainly none of the information that I told in the article needs to be secret. In fact, most of the information that I put in my article could be gleaned from a single encyclopedia diagram published in the Encyclopedia Americana several years back.
Mr. Molander, what is your opinion about the question of secrecy, about what he gleaned, as he said, from public information?
Certainly there's many instances in which things appear publicly, which I see with a secret stamp on it. The courts have come to grips with the issue of whether Howard Morland compromised security, and I'm happy to let them make the judgment. We see it very frequently, and it's a problem. There's one solution.
All right, let's move on to the question of reducing the threat of nuclear war. In your book, you outline a number of steps, Mr. Morland, that you think could be taken and should be taken to reduce the threat of what we call a nuclear holocaust. Would you briefly tell us what those steps are? What should America do?
Okay, I think first of all, there is no defense against nuclear war. There's no way to stop incoming missiles. We have a policy of trying to prevent nuclear war by frightening the other side into not launching nuclear weapons. It's called deterrence. Unfortunately, most of our weapon systems are designed, especially the new weapon systems, are designed with a capability which might potentially frighten the other side into starting a nuclear war. I think we should step away from that position by first having the president make a pledge of no first use, no first strike, so the United States will not initiate a nuclear war and will not be the nation that makes a war go nuclear, and then simply cancel all of the new weapon systems which have advertised first strike capability. That is,
okay, the first is a statement, right, in your judgment. Make a statement that America will never first strike.
Right.
Number two
is simply start to back up that statement by a number of measures. Stop making materials for new bombs. We've got 20,000, probably 25,000 nuclear warheads. That's all we need. Stop making materials for new bombs, and stop adding more accurate delivery systems to the nuclear arsenal. We have a number of new weapons which are advertised as having counter-silo capabilities. Now, that would seem to be defensive in that we're shooting nuclear missiles in these war scenarios at Soviet missile silos with the idea of disarming this missile before it can harm us. The problem with that is that it will only work if our missile arrives all the way over the other side of the world and explodes on target and catches the Soviet Union entirely by surprise. And if we're going to hit one missile silo, we've got to hit them all. And if we're going to hit all the silos, we've got to hit all the submarines.
Let me interrupt let me interrupt you for just a second. In other words, reduce the first strike capability. Right. Back off from that.
Back off from first strike capability.
All right. In other words, don't deploy those weapons. Is that right?
That's right.
And your final step, as I understand, is to reduce by half, right, the total number of weapons.
Well, of course, that's an arbitrary. The problem is we're going up now. I would say stop going up and start going down. If we have 2,000 warheads, we still have an adequate ability to destroy the Soviet Union. That would be a deterrent for us.
Okay. Mr. Molander, this is your bag. You've been working on this every minute of your life, apparently, for many years. What do you think of the recommendations he's making?
There's no question that we have a problem today. The United States, in terms of its history, has never been less secure. 30 minutes from any point in time, the country could be destroyed. What we do about it, of course, is a question which we all have to come to grips with. The kinds of weapons that he talks about clearly are things that are responding to a problem. We had based our capability, our posture, on weapon systems which did not threaten the Soviet Union. That was the posture articulated by Richard Nixon and many presidents. As of, within the last few years, the Soviet Union has developed the capability to strike U.S. weapons, particularly ICBM silos, in what we call a counterforce first strike. How do we respond to that? One of the options that we have is to develop comparable weapons. Will that deter the Soviet Union better? That's a very fundamental question. It goes to the minds of people. What deters an attack? We will come to grips in this country probably within about 2 years with the question of whether to go ahead with the deployment of, say, the MX missile, which is really the principal weapon that he's in mind. Prior to that time, the United States is going to go through an intense educational process in which we decide how we will posture ourselves vis-a-vis the Soviet Union with respect to strategic weapons into the future. That educational process has to start soon, because to do things like the weapons he is concerned about would be a fundamental change in the way we have approached these questions.
In other words, we've been saying even Steven, right? And that's deterrence.
That's what we threaten the other side.
Right.
And the question is now, are we better off, since the Soviet Union has made the step into counterforce weapons, by having comparable weapons on our own side? That's a question that's very difficult, and the country is going to have to come to grips with it.
All right. If we just back down, essentially, back off, I know that's an oversimplification, certainly, but if we just back down unilaterally and say, how might the Russians respond? Is that the question?
Certainly.
One of the questions.
There's been you can take no encouragement from history to date in terms of Soviet response to unilateral U.S. actions. In the mid-'60s, we stopped building strategic weapons. We had hoped that they would do likewise. This didn't happen. We moved into the late 60s. SALT was created to deal with the problem that neither side seemed to be able to stop this problem. Could you do then negotiated constraints? That effort has been made. Certainly it's subject to some question now as to whether that will be successful, and the Reagan administration is at this moment coming to grips with whether one can, through negotiation, as opposed to the unilateral actions which he suggests, come to grips with this kind of problem. Hopefully that'll be the case. We don't know now.
Gentlemen, thank you. We started the discussion. That is going to be a long one. Thank you, Mr. Morland, and thank you, Mr. Molander. We'll be back in just a moment, 5 minutes of 8 right now.
Real old-fashioned coffee aroma.
Old-fashioned? Mom, this is new improved mellow roast.
New? But it smells just like the coffee my mother used to make.
That's because new mellow roast has more rich aroma than before, and a new full-body taste.
Oh, but smooth tasting like my mother's.
You like new mellow roast, huh, Mom?
For you, dear. For me, just plain old-fashioned delicious.
New Mellow Roast coffee and grain beverage, improved for even more old-fashioned coffee taste and aroma.
What helps keep you cool in summer, warm in winter, make out energy costs too? Emerson, the ceiling fan for all seasons, with a model for every room. Makes 82 degrees feel like 75 in summer. Drives warm air down from the ceiling in winter for less than it costs to burn a light bulb. Works well with 8-foot or cathedral ceilings to help stay comfortable all year round. Look up to Emerson, the #1 name in ceiling fans. For more information and the name of your nearest Emerson dealer, call these toll-free numbers.
For all the looks that are really you, Beck's Full Figure Fashions, McAllen's large and half-size specialist, 1307 South 10th near Luby's, McAllen.
Tipton Ford of Brownsville has a long and distinguished history of providing the best service and the best prices in the valley. Right now, we're having our special truck sale. We've got the best selection of new Ford trucks in the valley. We've got Couriers, vans, pickups, and Broncos, and all at special truck sale prices. Come in today and see our great selection and take advantage of Tipton's special truck sale. Tipton Ford of Brownsville. If you didn't buy a Tipton, you paid too much.
Job opportunity for a television news reporter with a journalism degree. Applicants must be good writers and have a working knowledge of electronic video equipment to work as general assignments reporter. Qualified persons should apply to Personnel Director, Channel 5. KRGV-TV is an equal opportunity affirmative action employer.
Tomorrow in this hour, great Joe Namath will be with us, one of the great quarterbacks of all time. We'll see what he's been up to lately.
And in our next hour today, we're going to continue our series on fertility problems with 4 women who have a lot of questions about their own ability to have children.
And Robert Culp?
Yes.
Next hour,
right.
Robert Culp. If you're leaving us right now, go out and make it a good day today.
Ruth Batchelor's Wardrobe, courtesy of Lily Rubin, South and West. Good Morning America is the #1 early news and information program in the country. Weekdays.
Wednesday.
Hi.
Charlie's Angels are back in action when a hypnotist turns Julie into an angel killer. Then, on The American Dream, a family team on the courts causes foul play at home.
You're both just alike. Nothing big, dumb.
A new swimming pool from Tropical Pools of San Benito, and keep your cool. Your new swimming pool will be built to the finest quality materials at the lowest possible price. And now you can choose from 10 beautiful pool shapes for just $84.95. Pick the perfect pool for your backyard at this one low sale price. So beat the heat in a new swimming pool from the finest pool builders in the valley. Tropical Pools of San Benito, and keep your cool.
Very classy, Herb. Al thinks he knows all about my Curtis Mathis, but he doesn't know I leased it. Leased to Curtis Mathis with no long-term obligation, and my payments can apply to ownership. Look at the workmanship. It costs so little. I really ought to tell him. Herb, this must have cost you a fortune. But now's not the time.
With our leasing program, you don't have to buy a Curtis Mathis to have a Curtis Mathis.
Available at House of Curtis Mathis, Treasure Hill Shopping Center, Harlingen, and El Centro Mall, Far.
It's the annual June balloon sale at the Fabric Shop. Pop a balloon and discover your savings. Open till 7:30 every night. The Fabric Shop Bar, where fashion is sold by the yard.
Channel 5, KRGV-TV, Westlaco.
Hi, I'm Roosevelt McKinley from Cleveland, Ohio. Good morning, America.
Good morning, Roosevelt McKinley. Good morning, everybody. I'm David Hartman with Joan London. It's Wednesday, and it's the 3rd of June. This week here on Good Morning America, we are talking about fertility, what it is, what can be done about it, with Dr. Joseph Berlina. He specializes in fertility problems, and yesterday, here with us, he spent some time talking with 4 women. They are between the ages of 24 and 40. None of them have had children, and as you can imagine, they had a lot of questions about their own ability to have children. And Dr. Berlina had some very important and some surprising information for them and for all of us. And we will see that conversation in just a few minutes.
And we will also talk with actor Robert Culp, who is starring in a new big hit TV series, The Greatest American Hero. And Joel Siegel, he's going to review a new Alan Arkin comedy.